Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Marc Show. So today I have the privilege of being here with a amazing healer, a natural, holistic practitioner. She has a whole idea of just teaching you how to love yourself internally in a holistic way. So, Sarah, can you tell everybody your full name and what do you do?
Thank you, Christopher. I'm Sarah Dawkins. I was a registered nurse for 20 years. I healed myself naturally after being challenged about taking pharmaceuticals at home. Went on a whole holistic healing journey to find out what it entailed and how powerful our bodies are. I healed myself. I surrendered my license. I trained as a coach to help others. And now I help people, to heal themselves, because although I'm a healer, because I've healed, I don't heal anybody. I help them to heal themselves from the root cause of their health problems.
Yeah, and I think that's a powerful statement, because a lot of times people, especially when we're in this field of, guiding people and helping them to get to a place where they're, helping them to connect to their inner light, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing where it's like you're able to help people to connect with that. So let me ask you a question. So like with what you do, like how do you start that process with people? How do you help them to heal themselves?
So I start with a compassionate conversation. I ask my clients to tell me their story. And I just sit and listen. And often just being seen, heard, and validated is healing in and of itself. So I allow my clients to just outpour their whole story, whatever they think is relevant, without interrupting them. And when they stop, quite often things that they've said raise little red flags in my mind. So I'll ask them to go back to some of the things that they've said and expand their awareness around it and ask for a bit more detail, and look at who was involved and what happened and what do you think happened to that person in their life that would make them possibly able to do what they did to us. But it's not, yes, it's about the trauma that we hold, but it's not so much about the what happened to us so much as the how we hold it, because we're holding it through the eyes of that child that we were all those years ago. And it's still inside of us through the skills and knowledge and eyes of that child that we were. We haven't gone into that with the skills and knowledge of the adult that we are now. So there's a whole disparity between what we're holding and how we can see it now.
I think that being able to feel that, like that what you're referring to as far as like being able to hold that's a heavy thing, because sometimes, like, as a person who, I think once you become that person who decides I want to guide or be able to help people to heal themselves, it requires for you to have endured some sense of pain or some sense of hurt. And so what people don't understand is that you have a heightened sensitivity to not only what you're going through, but what other people are going through who is experiencing that. And so it's like being able to help them to identify it and say, hey, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be this way. So I think that's a powerful thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you say, I've gone through a lot in my life and healed most of it, not all of it, because we're all on our own journey and things pop up for healing.
Yeah.
So having gone through the things that I've gone through helps me to understand the pain of others. Obviously, I'm not them, we're all unique, but I've got an understanding, having been through a whole range of health problems and trauma, and healed all that.
Yeah, and sometimes like people just feel like, okay, well, shouldn't you be at a place where, you've healed these things, but you're still working on things, and sometimes people look at it like when you're the practitioner or you're the person helping people, you're supposed to be together. And I'm gonna tell you, like, there are things you're still working through, because if you wasn't working through it, then one, you wouldn't be able to identify who you can help. And the other aspect is that you can't, be able to guide them to a better place that works for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like, even though you're still healing, like, I feel like your pain allows for you to connect to other people's pain. I think that's the reason why you haven't moved past it yet.
Yes.
Because it's that connecting point where it's like, have you been through this? Yeah, I've been through that. Oh, like, let me tell you. So,
yeah.
And
just last week I felt.
Yeah, and that connecting point,
yeah,
is so important. Yes, you might be like, I wish I was over this part of my struggle or my trauma, but you also realize, like, man, so you're telling me, like, my pain is my gift, and it's like, yeah, it's essentially it is. Like,
yeah. Except I like to step in and help the client to reframe it. It's not their pain. When we call something ours, we own it. Our subconscious goes, whoa, that's mine. I'm going to hold on to that and not let it go, because if it's mine, I own it.
Right.
So if we can let go of that owning of health problems, of pain, of symptoms, and the pain I have, the symptoms I have, or
right.
I have currently even, which makes it more temporary sounding. If it's about stepping away from ownership, because it's easy to dip into that ownership and become that symptom, that diagnosis, that dis-ease. And we need to step out of that.
Yeah.
And I know I was there. I was depressed. It was my depression. It was my underactive thyroid. It was my bulimia. But actually, that's us staying in that victim mode. That symptom, that dis-ease is serving us in some way when we own it. So if we can let go of that and step away from that, it takes us out of victim mode. And I'm not saying that to belittle anybody, because I sat in that victim mode for years, blaming other people for my health misfortunes, until I took ownership of it. And we have to sit in that victim mode to feel it. We really do have to feel it. We can't heal it until we feel it. So when we're in that victim mode, if we can say, this is where I'm at, look what's happening to me, I'm feeling this and it's so bad and I'm the victim here. Really feel into it. But then don't live there. Step out and say, what is this giving me? How is this serving me? How is it benefiting me? Because it helps us to not do things. Health problems gives us excuses to stay in bed a bit longer, or not go to a party, or don't do things that we don't want to do.
And that's a powerful thing, because being able to identify, like what you said, like the dis-ease, like it's not like because some people just say, okay, well, I have a disease. This is a thing that's affecting me.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is a state of uneasiness.
It is.
And that's a part that changes things, it's like,
it does.
So how much of what people go through would you say is predominantly subconscious? Or would you say, or stemming from like subconscious emotions, or what
beliefs,
beliefs and things like that? How much of that would you say that it is?
Anything that is not trauma related, like acute illness, acute trauma, or potentially food related, because some foods irritate us, but there can be a subconscious belief behind that as well. Most other things, so I would say over 90% of our dis-ease manifests from our subconscious mind. It's our subconscious mind throwing it out into the body, going, Here's a symptom. I'm trying to talk to you. I've got a message for you. Please listen. Look at this symptom. And there are clues in the symptom with regards to what's going on in our subconscious mind. And we run on autopilot. Our subconscious mind runs us daily on autopilot. And it's only when we stop and become conscious in the moment, we can say, what is going on? What is this symptom doing for me? What am I even doing? What am I even thinking? And we need to become conscious to understand what's going on in our subconscious mind.
And I think that's the thing where, I think that's the part where I always tell people, it's like you need someone to help guide you through that. Because it's not a thing where it's like, it's almost like a person where your back is itching and you're like, I'm trying to reach it. It's in this spot and I can't reach it. And so at a certain point, you're going to have to ask someone, hey, can you scratch my back for me? And it's the same thing when you have things going on with you subconsciously. You might know something's wrong, or you might know that there are some things that you're trying to work through, but you just can't reach that part of your mind unless someone's helping you or guiding you through that. And so it's not an easy thing to do, and it does require some vulnerability in that. Yes,
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
So what is I see you have your books here and everything like that. Can you tell everybody what your books are about?
Yes. So I wrote my book, Heal Yourself, on my own journey, because growing up in the medical model, believing that I needed doctors and pills. So when I was challenged about my use of pills and started looking at how powerful our bodies are and started my own healing journey, I healed a whole lot of health problems, and I started to write about them, thinking, well, I can't be the only one that this is like mind-blowingly new information for. But this little voice on my shoulder's like, you're not an author. Who do you think you are? You can't write a book. So I put it away for 5 years in my laptop, never touched it. And then one day I woke up and I've got to write this book, and the way to help more people is to get more people into it with healing a whole range of different health problems.
Right.
So I reached out on social media. I went trawling the internet for blog posts about people who'd healed a whole range of different things. 74 people wrote about their own healing journeys, from multiple sclerosis, ALS, or motor neurone as we call it in the UK, asthma, allergies, autoimmune, cancer, Lyme, stroke, endometriosis, POTS, polycystic ovary disease, so many different health problems. And for most cases, I've got more than one in every case, more than one healer, so that you can't just read it, go, well, that's a fluke, it's only one person. Well, no, 3 or 4 people healed multiple sclerosis, 2 people healed ALS. And they all wrote their own healing journey, what they had, how they healed, what they did, with the same aim as myself, to help the reader to see that, here's a diagnosis I've been given, and this is what I've done, and I've now healed it. And the x-rays show the lesion's gone, or the scan shows everything's normal. And our aim is to help people to help themselves, to read the book and say, well, if they've healed it, I can heal it. And everybody's done a whole range of different things. So my aim is to show people that when you step away from medicine, there's so many different healing modalities out there, from energy healing to reflexology to massage to sound to color to meditation, mindfulness. There's a whole range of different things. So it's going to hopefully help people to see what is available and that they can try. And then, because not everybody speaks English, I had my book translated into Spanish, Dutch, and French too.
And that says so much about you. like your heart and your love and the beauty of who you are as a person, because you know, a lot of times people just say, okay, well, let me just get this information out here. You're saying, hey, listen, I don't want our, you know, our dialect to actually limit us. I want to be able to connect with people, because even if I may not understand or be able to translate, or, you know what I mean, or communicate in that language, I still want to be able to reach you and to just say, hey, you know, I do understand. And I think that's amazing at what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, so let me ask you this. How would, I guess if someone was walking your path and as a practitioner and helping and healing people, like what advice would you give them?
To another practitioner?
Yeah, a person who just saying, I'm getting acclimated to all of this, and they're walking a similar journey to you. Like, what advice would you give them?
Come back inside yourself and listen to that inner voice.
Wow.
It's there for us to support us, and it guides us on our path. So come in and listen to that inner voice. Take some time out in stillness, in quiet, and listen to what it's saying. And ask your body, what does it need on its own healing journey? What do I need to do to support you, my body, my mind, my soul? How can I support you to heal yourself, to help me to feel better?
That's a powerful one. That is a really powerful one, because people being able to go inward is not an easy thing for people.
No.
So being able to, because, you know, we're so fixated on the external world.
Yeah.
You know, and so being able to go internal and to say, hey, you know, feel this, be in that space. It's, yeah, that's
and we're not taught it either.
No, we're not. And I think that's the part where people, you know, because of growing up, it's like you get judged for talking about your feelings, like being vulnerable, being transparent with that. And so a lot of times we say, well, maybe I should just not talk about my emotions and my feelings at all. So I think that's a powerful thing. So let me ask you a question. So what is your ultimate goal? Like, what is your future vision for everything you're trying to achieve?
I would love to be on stages around the world in person, speaking to crowds to help them to understand how they can take back responsibility and heal themselves. And my ultimate is to do a TED Talk.
Gotcha. So how can people find you? If people were like, hey, listen, I love her, she's amazing, where is she? How can people find you?
Go to my website, www.sarahdawkins.com. That's SARAHDAWKINS.com. All my links are there.
Sarah, me and you, we talked for a while, so before, and I just truly admire what you do, because it's allowing people to connect to what's going on within them, but just also helping them to understand that the true healing process begins with, identifying who you are.
Yeah.
And, because it's not necessarily about, I would say people is like, you can self-diagnose and you can self-medicate, but at a certain point you do need someone to help you. So you guys need someone to help and guide you.
And it's easier with support.
It's so much easier. Because she's amazing. So thank you for joining us on the show today, Sarah. I really appreciate your time. And I appreciate you making the time to be here.
And thank you too, Christopher.
All right, cool. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys. Peace.